Okay, we'll start with this one. Skadoosh. Bling. Alright, so there's some weird colors and stuff. We'll work on that. The donation bar is a little strange right now. But I think if you host or a sub, it should be a little different. Let's do a test on the text. Yeah, so that shows up. Cool. Got latest subs on there now. What else we got? Oh yeah, if you do a follow or a host or a donation or something, it should do something in the over the chat. Working on framing it better, so, and actually getting a sound. So we'll see how that works. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I didn't even look whose stuff was coming from. This is from DevG. So this looks pretty good. The material that's on top, like, I guess, is this supposed to, like, I'm not sure what the material is of this. I can see that that I need my Epic pen. Oh, don't feel pressure to tip, dude. But that's cool. Thanks. Follows too. We'll do crazy stuff. It's like spams little emojis all over my little webcam. Oh, I probably need my side light, huh? Boom. That was super bright. Anyway, so I'm not sure what this material is, and yeah, what I do like is how there's a little bit of a height to the paint edge or whatever. That, like, I'm assuming that this, like, they had that and then they painted on top of it and they painted their colors on top. You are thinking about it in layers, which is good. So, like, the ones in the center are probably the highest because of the order of what it was painted. It's supposed to be paint. So if this is, I'm reading paint mainly because of this stuff, like how it's broken up on the edge. Dripping might help, like drip patterns and stuff like that. Let's see here. So, like, if you had little drips where, like, it built up too much, the paint built up too much. Oh, I missed your stuff, or you missed it on the stream. So I think I talked about your stuff. I could be wrong. Let me know if I did not. Let's see what else we got here. So as far as all this being painted, I think giving it, oh, I see now. I think this is wood. Be strong. Something is wrong with the normal map, huh? Might be your one of your channels, your green channel might be flipped. So I can see it now. These are wood panels. So, like, in order to like get this to look right, I would totally just separate these wood pieces out. Like the wiggle that's happening here is a little odd. I would yeah, I would separate out the wood pieces, actually make them modeled separately. And get some gaps in between here. And then you can use that to chip the paint around the edges to try and sell because I can see it down here that there's a little bit of wood coming through the paint, and that's just not coming through. I think if the wood was a little darker, like a bit more rich, that would probably work out pretty well. But yeah, don't be afraid to make this higher poly. Like, split up the wood pieces and make these, like, that'll make this so this becomes uneven, like that. Like, you do that, oh man, immediately it reads like wood, right? I just did that with a mouse. I'm actually a little happy about that. Let's see here. So let's look at this one. Oh yeah. No, I thought this looked pretty good. I did end up getting cut off when I was looking at it. Think about where the snow piles up, like you're doing it a little bit, and then try and work on the transition of where the pile of snow meets the ground. This looks pretty good. That might be a little too dark. I think it's working though. Like I feel like maybe a bit more frosted. Did the host? Yes. Ah, look at that guy. I still need to update that one. Where's that at? So yeah, I think making this albedo look a little bit colder, adding more of like a frost to the colors of it. I mean, in general though, this is pretty freaking crazy. This looks awesome. Like it's pretty mind blowing. Yeah, especially so in this image. Let's do this. So in this image, the this edge here, you could totally like do snow buildup along that. And then where you have these flares at, I'm assuming that you have like a point light that you've placed there to simulate the brightness of the flare. You could do the point light on the snow, and then just have a big snow pile and see if you can get the snow to look like a flare was thrown into the snow, and then you've got like the little. Hey, it works. Cool, thanks, man. Since the community is so cool and supported, good thing I found your channel. Thanks, dude. I'm assuming that message probably got cut off, but we'll see if I can fix that stuff later on. Yeah, just to fulfill this path direction, like getting more snow along the sides here, and just like burying things that just have not. Oh shit! I just noticed there's a body there. Burying things that just haven't moved in a while, right? What else could you do here? Maybe some stuff in the street, like the cones tipped over, and because you want to lead the eye. Like I almost feel like taking this light out, maybe putting it over here. Yeah, because if you put it over here, then it'll clear up the shot for like leading you through here. I like the shadow here. That light is really strong, whatever's here. But yeah, this comes down to composition and stuff. Like you have a really strong light in the back of this building that's hitting all this stuff back here, which is cool because that kind of like that's where you end up looking. And that's why I think opening this up will help the composition a lot. For the Empire. Awesome. All right, so Jacob with a art test. This looks familiar, doesn't it? So we'll get into the details that are sticking out to me. So this trash can feels very stylized and very straight. I mean, adding a few cuts and kind of denting it up a little bit, maybe tilting the lid slightly. Let's see what else we can pick out here. The glass could maybe be a little dirtier. I really like this wire system you've got going on here. I'm assuming that's like a modular set. Like you've got basically this piece or double that, and then you've got a corner piece, and then you're taking that piece and running it down this way. Let's see what else we got here. Where this edge meets, you could do like concrete of a different color to kind of show the installation of it in some of them. It doesn't have to be on every single one. The manhole, let me see if you can see it on the stream. 25 notifications, I know. Notifications. This manhole could use some depth. Like as much as like you could just model the rim and lift that up, like just extrude it up a little bit. The leaves do look flat. You could do a combination of what you're doing here with the textures and alpha. I would also go in and model like, I don't know, 10 of them, 15, 20 of them, and place them throughout to just kind of break up the flatness of it. The papers too, model a set that like goes up against the edge of the building, because everything you want to do is get away from like these edges, right? So like this is actually a really good one to critique, because there's some the key thingamabobs. What was that? What was that message? I see nothing. It's not updating me on anything. What's up, Gold? How you doing? What's up, John? How's it going? So these straight lines, keeping an eye out for these. Particularly in this spot here. I'm good. It's Good Friday. Or a good Monday. Ha! Wow. It's like it's time to go. I need out. Taking this approach, like see how much that's broken up the pattern. Ah, another follow. 2 follows. Bird Aid, what's up? And Danny0133, thanks for the follows. Oh no, my webcam. I'm drowning. Help me. I'm looking forward to you, Jung. Always hanging out. What is happening? What is the thing? So having these lines are breaking up everything as far as the straight line's concerned. This, you're breaking it up a little bit by the edge, not being even on the curb. If you could take the paper that you're doing here and leaves and stick stuff here, maybe some paper that went up on there, a few pieces of paper out here, just stuff that gets in there, cigarette butts, anything, that would be really beneficial. Let's see what else we can. So where the 2 buildings meet is another straight line right here. That edge there, like you can do stuff like this. They'll put like a concrete paste or a filler to try and like seal that up, because like, you know, when water gets in there and it freezes, the water expands, and you can quickly get building damage that ends up costing lots of money to fix. Like you're doing it here. If you do it on like these little areas, like you're doing it here as well, getting that along this line would be really helpful. And I really like that you've got drips here, you've got some like gunky stuff back here. Totally bring that into some other spaces. This is cool too, this little layer of paint at the bottom. You should get that layer of paint to go over this pipe too. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we got here. This is really straight. If you could like add a few cuts and just kind of bend it around a little, that will help immensely. Oh wow, and I didn't even pick up on this camera. So there's a surveillance camera sitting right here, and this spline that's just really low poly, it looks like. This is probably an Unreal spline. Add some more cuts in it so that it's smoother. And I would suggest maybe putting the camera here, just because there's so much happening here that if you can get like the focus down over this way, that would be pretty good. Graffiti, the spread of graffiti is pretty good. Warning signs and posters look like they're pretty good as well. Let me see if there's anything else we can point out. This edge is really straight. I mean, like that, and then there's the little edge there. So it only cuts a couple times. Just model in a bit of either denting, like just kind of wobbly edge. It's really crazy how quick that'll fix the feeling of geometry. Like all the straight lines. It's like I wish I had like a straight line detection thing where it'll just highlight in contrast straight lines so that you can go in and address the ones that are addressable. Like this grading stuff over the windows is really straight. Bending those or maybe making it look like someone threw something at it and it kind of bent the metal a little bit, that'd be pretty helpful. Yeah, I don't know. Seeing this, I feel like there's a door back there. I don't think a door is necessarily needed, especially in like the back alley areas. Maybe because these are here, maybe there's a little door here, you know, for the cellar entrance, where they bring stuff into like a restaurant from the back. I like the fire escape as well. I just don't know how you escape. Like it needs the ladder. It's missing the ladder. That's like double layered, right? Because it hasn't been released to drop. Gotta add those details, man. Think about how the space is used. Material-wise, it's looking pretty good. Yeah. Cool. I would say this looks pretty successful. Here's some more straight lines for you. It looks like you've beveled it because it looks like the normal is going around that edge pretty nicely. Just some cuts in there. You jump. Oh, I didn't even know that. It's like Lawbreakers. You can just remove the gravity, right? This is a false sense of security. Who needs ladders? Who needs ladders? People trying to escape. That's who needs ladders. Let's see here. Yeah, cool. I think I've said enough on that one. Dude, this is crazy. So this is like, this reminds me of like playing some Command and Conquer. I like that you're just exploring modeling stuff. Like if you're planning on texturing all of this, make sure to just texture one thing. For example, like you've got 4 of these guys, right? You've got this tower. Like you just have to make that once, and then you can just rotate it around. Just don't set anything on fire. Yeah. No, you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's pretty cool. The fence setup that you have here, I would think about making, like, if you were to look at it from top down, think about how a corner would be, and then where that will continue onto another piece. So you can build a set, because then this piece and this piece are the same, and then you have a corner that's an inverted corner like this. 3 pieces, and now you have enough to make a set of fencing. I'm like, yeah, words. If you want to, for distress reasons, like you can take, this is always, in my opinion, this is always a good idea, because it just breaks up the repetitiveness of it. So you take version 1 and you'd make like 1.1 version, which is like maybe it's bent or it's got barbed wire on the top of it or something like that. Or it's damaged and it looks like someone's broken through it. And then in the rare occasion that you would need to be able to do that, you could do that in a corner. You could do it with a corner piece as well. So then you could make a 2.1 version of the corner. Dude, there's all types of noises going on. What have I done? What have I done? I wonder if I need to... there's so much shit going on. What's happening? Thanks for all the follows, guys. What's this stream about? Bird Aid, what's going on? This stream is about learning about video game art and learning how to make it. Yeah. Right now I'm going through the people's stuff that I didn't get a chance to on Friday. This stream's about Maru. Maru is my dog. It's my little my little dog. So if you're ever curious about video game art, check it out. Chickadee check it. We talk about all types of game art stuff. So this one's looking real good. I told Marika that I would take some time to critique this one. Didn't get a chance to. Look at how hot that is. This is in CryEngine as well. That's King Maru to you. Yes. All right, let's get the tablet out here and let's see if we can poke any holes in this. Okay, so is this going to be a good color for this? Yes. So the little subtle, like, first off, focal point, right? You look here first. And that's good. I mean, in the concept, actually, here before I continue with this, I will link this to you guys in chat so you can read into it if you want. Whoops, that's not what I want to paste. Wonder where that message came from. So let's look at this. So focal points here. It's all about the lighting, right? Everything is pointing your eye in that direction. The thing that's really catching my eye with this is the amount of breakup that's happening with geometry in order to get away from just looking like geometry. So like you have some pretty straight lines up here, right? But then there's the little cap here. There's a cap here. There's little ways to break it up, and then you're like, oh well, there's this huge element here, this bar. And there's all this neon on it. And not only is that neon bright, but it's also like supported by like probably 100 to 200 polys worth of just pipes and tubing. And then all this detail here, like there's lots of detail. And what's really cool is she's using the neon to show details. So everything's relatively dark, but there's like this green here, there's probably a point light here that's the same color as that's causing this little highlight. That little highlight's hitting here, it's hitting there. So you get to see how objects are passing around each other, and it helps explain the three-dimensional space to the viewer. You're getting it again up here, which is really, really nice. This is cool. It's hinting at something more than just the alley. Like the buildings are alive as well. The graffiti looks pretty good. This dripping feels really intentional right now. How would you make all the logos? You're talking about this stuff? You could do a combination of like looking up actual signage. Like what we would call this is signage. And signage is everything when it comes to, like, that's the only way humans are able to navigate through a space. Gallagher, what's up? How you doing? That's how people navigate through three-dimensional space in games and in real life. So I would say games are imitating real life because you need to have all of these details in order to explain what's where. The moment you don't have those, or you're lacking signage, is the moment when the world feels strangely empty. Yeah, the best thing to do, I think, Curious, because you're saying you're making your own logo and you didn't like it, that's pretty normal. It's pretty normal as an artist. You're just not going to like your own stuff. You'll get more comfortable with it. Just accept it. Just accept that it's always going to be, in your own eyes, not as good as you want it to be. Yeah, the puddle stuff down here looks great. There's a ton of different ranges in roughness. These stairs back here feel like block out steps. Like I would either dent them in the middle or kind of chip them up a little bit. Let's see what else we got here. This beam here terminates into this wall pretty abruptly. Maybe if there's a little bit of dripping to kind of connect it of similar value. This railing is really thin. This railing here, it's like hand railing. and it actually feels really, it might just be the angle, but the step area that you walk up on or you're walking down from is really narrow. But I think if you were to bring it out even just a little bit further, it might start to intrude on this frame that's happening right now. Let's see what else we got here. I would maybe, so this sign back here, while it's okay, I would see if maybe you could lower the complexity of it, or make it bloom a bit more so that it's not so prominent, because it's just a lot, like, it's a lot of busy patterns that doesn't really, like, I can't tell what's going on back there, so it just turns into noise, especially when, like, this, you've got this up front, and this looks really good. To continue on to the signage conversation that we were having just a second ago, I would go online, look at symbols and stuff. They don't necessarily have to be correct. It's more about, like, the way that it looks. Bob. So it's not crit day, but I wanted to get to the last 5 that I missed on last Friday. Let's see what else we got here. So if this sign's lit, I would love to see, maybe this is what it is, but I would love to see something connecting to it, maybe a little wire. And if that logo is here, I would probably try and match the colors style-wise for the continuity between the 2 logos, because they're the same company, right? So you can always post for crits in the art related channel though. Oh no, Tobias, no. Let's see what else we got here. Man, in general, this is looking real nice though. I think this is good. This is really good. I'm curious to see where you take it. I guess maybe the glass on this car, the way it's broken, feels a little like the way the cracks have been applied feels a little pasted on. I really feel like I'm grasping at straws here, trying to find things to pinpoint, because you've done a really good job of getting lots of detail without becoming really noisy. The only noise that I'm feeling right now is up here. I mean, look at this. You've modeled all this stuff, and there's not much lighting on that to see all that detail. It's being shown via other lights behind it, and it's cutting up the lighting, which is really cool. Maybe this graffiti could show a little bit more of the brick information under it. It feels like, I don't know, maybe it's been painted on a lot, but it just feels really smooth. The left wall feels a bit low poly, huh? Oh, you're talking about how it's this edge and this. Yeah, these elements feel really low poly, that's for sure. Or they look like the shapes are very like you took a hexagon and then you extruded a couple times and just made some shapes. Maybe if there are some lights on it and then some wire, just some elements to make it look a bit more finished would probably help. Maybe some other elements on this that are like a different roughness information going on there, just to play with the lighting a little bit more. I wouldn't add any emissives and stuff here though, because this side here is pretty toned back, which is good because then it doesn't detract from like looking over here. It's the same over here. Like you are getting these details, but they're so subtle in comparison to what's happening in the center. Anywho, yeah, it looks really good. Again, for signage, Google is your best friend. Drop a camera in a street of I don't know, Japan or China if you can, or South Korea. Look at their signs. See how they're posting up their font and their logos and the lighting they use and stuff, because that'll really help you come up with ideas for signage. And you'll see things and be like, oh, I should have, like, light switches. Why don't I add light switches? Why don't I add like railing, or like most buildings that are in cities that are really car heavy, like vehicle traffic heavy. Most buildings on every corner have like a bumper that's like reinforced concrete wrapped with rubber, so that if you were to run into it, that thing softens the blow so that you don't like crash through the building. And it protects you a little bit as well. I don't think that's really the main goal though. I think it's more to like protect the building. Anywho, it's probably enough for that one. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here. Yeah, see the logo is definitely better now, or the graffiti over here. I think I like the window here on this car more, with the graffiti on top of it. This is much easier to sell that. Anywho, cool. And then Lucas is actually doing a similar concept. Let me see if I can find, like, this looks like he's working on lighting. Man, so you're really pushing those the emissives and like where lights are. Let's see if I can go to the most recent one. This one feels really flat shaded. I keep seeing, maybe I'll come back to the other point. Super distracting. I would, so despite your neons being super distracting, I would definitely keep them on, because they affect your composition so much. You know what I mean? That, like, if you lose track of them because they're off, once you turn them back on, it's like you've been authoring a composition based off of what you're seeing. And then, but you don't have some of the key elements which are the neons. Let's see here. Cool, thanks, Din. But also, from a technical standpoint, how would you model it? Model what? What do you? How would I model specifically what? This feels a little high on saturation. The signage, it depends. I mean, if it's like this, you can download fonts that imitate patterns like that. Like, it doesn't have to be real, you know what I mean? You can download fonts and then you can model to those. Like Moto and Max and Maya, I think they all have text to font, or text to font to geometry, where you can convert it to geo and then extrude it. The new ZBrush update also has text to geo, and that also supports custom beveling patterns on there that are clean, which is really impressive. I really like the blurring that you have going on here. Like, these elements are what's separating themselves. Like, this is kind of blending into the back right now. Everything's really flat. This looks really low poly right now. This whole building looks really low poly currently. It looks like it's still blocked out. The contrast of the dirt on the walls, be careful with how dark that is compared to the wall. Halving the value of it will probably be where I would expect. Like, this is also still a little dark, unless it's, I mean, that's graffiti, so that might work. If you're going to have like this type of detail inside this space, I would see if you can get a light in there that'll cast like some strong shadows, so that you can get a sense of like where the wall is back there. Because right now those shelves look like they're floating, maybe. I mean, maybe it is floating, who knows. But yeah, with the dripping and stuff like this, again, like right now you have a shape that's like that, so it's like this. When you should get a couple of them where you get a shape that's here. Is it? Is it control? Yeah, there we go. So right now you have a shape that's like this with drips, right? Get one where it's like you have a really low side. You can flip that and get another low side. Maybe one where there's a bigger drip in the middle. Just variety. Really small, thin ones that are just pretty uniform throughout is really good. Yeah, just get some breakup, because like with this corner one, for example, you can do stuff like with the corner one you could do this, which makes much more sense, because if it's dripping out of this, it's going to kind of try and cling onto the pipe that it's coming out of and end up dripping down the side of it, and then you would actually get more dripping down here too. Just doodled it down, dude. Awesome. Be careful with how thick these are, like all of your metal work. Like this area looks pretty good, but like these elements are getting pretty thick. And wherever you can do stuff like this, where the extruded pieces, like AC units and these straight lines, again, watch out for straight lines. It's what makes everything look like low poly video game 3D. This one's okay. That one's not that bad because there's the shape break up there. Let's see here. This is relatively okay because you've got the pipe work around the edge, kind of breaking that up. Where else are we looking at? This wire here, I know you only have one or so. Just go crazy with it. Like, try a bunch of them and do it in a group where like you can stack them on top of each other, and then you can move those groups around pretty easily to get a sense of like how much there should be. If it's too dense, then you can just hide one or remove it. But yeah, and then look at your the materials. Like right now, you only have a little bit of reflection happening on the ground. Okay, the neon signs, like this is pretty bright. That should be like blowing out over there. And then your windows, make those more believable. Like add a frame. I mean, I almost want to say just model a box and put some gradients on the walls and stuff, and then just cut those windows open and actually model the blinds. Like it doesn't even, I don't think you guys have I don't know the rules specifically, but I'm assuming you guys don't have much of a poly count limit as long as it's within reason. Because you can make those blind sets and then just make like 2 versions of them and break them up. And then you can move those around and place those on all the windows. Just model those in and get some emissive gradients on walls, and you're good. You could even like paint a little bit of shadows on those emissive gradients and kind of fake things. You animate that, you could make the gradient emissives that are on a box inside the room. Like those are the walls, right? And you can animate the brightness of the emissive so it kind of looks like someone watching TV. It'd be pretty cool, and it'd be pretty easy, fast to set up, and I think the payoff would look really nice. But yeah, I think that's all I'll talk about with this one for now. Lots of detail happening in here, though. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to get Moto open. I'm going to work on some more patterns. And yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to switch over.